What's up everybody, it's Robin Gaming here. So is resolution better or more important than frame rate and graphics? I would like to immediately answer that question with a definite no right now. Of course, king is still gameplay, story, the actual game itself, is it fun? But to just make a video speaking about these three things, you know, on the more graphical, I guess, aspect of a game, I would definitely say that resolution comes at the end of the list of those three things. And look, all of them are important, right? I mean, just try watch a YouTube video right now in 240p. It's undoable in the times we live in right now. So of course, you know, even resolution up to a certain extent is important. But I will say, to me personally, you know, whether playing a game in 720p, 900p, 1080p, there are differences. I can see them. They're not super noticeable or that big of a deal, if you get what I mean, because it's literally just the sharpness that is actually different. If we're talking about in-game graphics, aka texture quality, character models, you know, environmental details, particle effects, all those type of things really add something to the look of a game, whereas resolution only makes it sharper. So hands down, that game graphics are more important than resolution to me as well. And last of all, we have frame rate, which just means that you're gonna get a much smoother experience in, for example, 60 frames per second compared to a 30 FPS game, or even worse, some games that suffer from all these frame drops and stuff. For me personally, therefore, you see developers make the choice between graphics and frame rate all the time. Like, look at Naughty Dog, they always like to go for the best graphics, and that means that they, although they at first had the plans for Uncharted 4 to be a 60 frames game, in the end, because they simply wanted the graphics to be the best they could be, they had to tune down the graphics to 30 frames per second. That's simply because they feel it's more important and it might be a selling point for the game itself, which I can understand. I still feel personally that, you know, frame rate is definitely the most important thing out of all three, simply because it just makes for a smoother experience. Look at the multiplayer, like, it plays fantastic that way. And every time you return to the single player, or every time you go from a 60 frames to a 30 frames game, you instantly notice that it feels inferior, you know, and that's what I mean. The reason why I'm talking about this topic actually right now is simply because of the PS4 Pro, of course, which I talked about 2 days ago, because I said that I was not very impressed so far and that I didn't recommend it to many people. And I gotta say, I got quite some hate from, you know, from people, you know, just simply for what I said about that. And first of all, I want to say, you know, you don't need to hate on me for it. Like, it's simply an opinion. Don't take it, you don't need to take it seriously. You know, if you don't agree, then please respectfully discuss that with me in the comments, because there's no need to even hate me for it, because I don't hate you for thinking differently, right? But the reason why many people heavily disagreed with me and actually, you know, came with all these hate comments sometimes was because I said that I do not have a 4K TV yet. So why did I even buy a Pro? And I find that the most ridiculous question, you know, that people could possibly ask, because that just tells me that you know, the people that ask that type of stuff don't really know too much about the PS4 Pro. Like, the thing is 2.3 times more powerful than the original PS4. That doesn't only mean that the resolution has to be increased. No, it also means that developers can actually push the graphical side or the frame rate side, and people with 1080p TVs are going to notice that. And the same counts for, of course, you know, HDR, which people are getting, and PlayStation VR improvements. There are many reasons apart from 4K and from the improved resolutions to get a PS4 Pro. However, and this is why I said I was disappointed by the PS4 Pro so far, is because many games are taking or doing it the lazy way and not making actual use of the system really yet. Like, what all these developers have decided with their old games, at least most of them, is that they simply take the existing game that they have and they increase the resolution, you know, to meet the power of the PS4 Pro, and that's all they need to do, and there you go, you have a Pro game, which is basically the exact same game, simply in a better resolution. And that was the reason why I was complaining. I get it, if you have a 4K TV, you're gonna notice much more of a difference right now than somebody with a 1080p TV, because you actually have improvements. People with 1080p TVs right now don't have improvements. But even then, even as a 4K TV owner, I really feel that resolution should not be what you would want these developers to focus on, because even though Sony really wants that with the 4K TVs that they're selling and stuff like that, once again, if I would look at it myself and if I would have a 4K TV right now with a game like Rise of the Tomb Raider, which you know, comes with different modes, options, I would rather go for the 1080p 60 mode over the 4K 30 mode, simply because of the frame rate, sorry. And you know, that's the entire thing I was trying to kind of like talk about in that video, is that if developers with these other games like Uncharted, Last of Us, you know, every single game that got a pro patch right now that only improves the resolution, if those would have actually looked at in-game graphics or frame rates and try to improve on those, it would be much more worth it. And that's actually what people would want from these games, I feel. You know, once again, I'm pretty convinced that everybody would agree with me that resolution is the least important out of the three. Let me know in the comments, of course, if you do agree with me on that. And if we can all come to that conclusion together, then I think it's a pretty logical conclusion as well, that developers should be focusing on more than just the resolution with the additional power. Like, the PS4 Pro has much more power, and that doesn't mean it only needs to go towards resolution. It can go towards many different aspects. You know, that's it was kind of a response video I wanted to make to that video I did a few days ago, because of the sort of hate I got from people. And granted, a lot of the people that hated on me for it, you know, were people that just came across the video that aren't even subscribed to me, and so they don't feel any connection in them. They much, you know, more easily hate on me for stuff like that. It happens all the time as a YouTuber, and you know, it doesn't affect me in any way, but I just felt like I had to make a sort of response video and explain exactly, you know, why I felt that way about the PS4 Pro, and I still do. Is that Rise of the Tomb Raider I'm really enjoying. It's a game that makes it worth it for me to have a Pro right now in a way, because I still need to play it, and I find the 60 frames mode so much, you know, more fun and smooth to play than the 30 frames option, and I'm very glad, you know, that I can. But at the same time, I feel like more games need to go that way, and actually even better give you options, right? If you want to play the 4K mode, go do that. If you want to get a high frame rate mode, then that's there for you too, so you don't need to so you can basically make the choice yourself, right? And if you are a 1080p TV owner, then the choice is very easily made. You play that, and it actually increases or improves your own experience. So yeah, it was kind of a big discussion. Let me know in the comments, of course, what you feel about this. If you got a PS4 Pro, what you think of it so far. And then for now, thanks a lot for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, let me know your thoughts, and I hope to see you again next time.